Alright guys, we are beginning triangles today. You may want to pause these notes and do some drawing kind of as you go because I'm going to be going relatively quickly through them. Pause and rewind as needed. But we're starting out with just some basic review. All this first part right here is review for you from elementary school. A triangle is a figure with 3 sides and 3 angles. A triangle is a figure with 3 sides and 3 angles. Okay? The symbol for triangle is this right here. Really complicated. You just draw a triangle. Okay? Every triangle has at least 2 acute angles. Okay? And one way that you can classify a triangle is by using the third angle. Another way to classify a triangle is by their sides. Okay? These words right here should look familiar to you, but the side classifications and angle classifications are different. Notice angle, talking about how big your angles open up. Side classifications, I'll give you some hints for remembering right here, but it's up to you to remember them, okay? Alright, I'm going to start right here with equilateral, since that's probably the one you're most familiar with. An equilateral triangle is where all 3 sides are equal. Okay, it'll look like this right here, or similar to it. Okay, and these right here, what I'm about to put, these are called congruency marks. Remember, congruent means the same. They're called congruency tick marks, and what that means is this side is the same length as this side is the same length as this side, no matter what length they are. If one of them's 5, they're all 5. If one of them's 6, they're all 6. Alright, now an isosceles triangle is where 2 side lengths are the same. So 2 side lengths are equal. Okay? Alright, it's going to look similar to this. Like you'll have 2 that's the same and 1 that's longer. So the way that we note that is we say this one is the same as this one. These 2 are the same, but this one's different. It's longer. So I put 2 tick marks there. Also looks coincidentally a little bit like Darth Vader. In a scalene triangle, okay, this is where all 3 are equal, only 2 are equal, and this is where none are equal. No side lengths are equal. Okay, no side lengths are equal. I usually draw kind of a little short side, draw a little medium side, and then draw this long connector for the 2 of them. Okay, this one's shortest, so I'm going to put 1 tick mark there, 1 congruency mark there. This one's next, so I'll put 2 there, meaning that this is not the same as this. And this one is my longest, so I'll put 3 there. Okay, meaning they're all different. Alright, one of the ways that equilateral is your easiest one to remember because it has the word equal in it. They're all 3 equal. Okay, you probably know that already. Isosceles, you have, how many eyes do you have? 2 eyes. So I'm going to draw a pair of eyes down here. Draw those as little remembering features. 2 eyes, 2 isosceles, 2 sides on the isosceles triangle are the same, okay? And then scalene is just your leftover with where none of them are the same. I don't have a cute little remembering thing for that, but if you know these 2, you should know that one. Okay? Alright. Classification by angles. Now we're not talking, here we were talking about the lengths of the sides. Now we're going to go inside the triangle and classify it by its angle. Alright. An acute triangle is where all 3 angles are acute. Okay? Meaning, you know, it doesn't have to be equilateral, doesn't have to be isosceles, but this one's going to be acute. I'll put an A inside there for acute. This one would be acute, and this one would be acute. Okay? All 3 are acute, meaning all 3 less than 90 degrees. A right triangle, it has exactly, well, we'll just say it has 1 right angle. Okay? And, you know, can go like that with this one right, or it could go, you know, can be drawn any way can be drawn in any way. But the thing is, you notice up here it said every triangle has at least two acute angles. Every triangle has at least 2 acute angles. This one has 2 acute, so these other 2 have to be acute. They'll always be acute, okay? And an obtuse angle is obtuse triangle, has 1 obtuse angle, all right? And it's usually, you know, you're going to have a big obtuse angle in there. Sometimes they're isosceles. There's nothing that says that they have to be isosceles or equilateral or scalene, but this one is obtuse. The other 2 would have to be acute. All right, just to point this out, it said that every triangle has 2 acute angles. So on each of your triangle, if you'll go to an acute, and mark it out, what are you left with? This is an acute triangle. Go to an acute, and mark it out, what are you left with? This is a right triangle. Go to an acute, and mark it out, what are you left with? It's an obtuse triangle. What I mean is that every triangle is classified by its angles using that last angle that's left over after you cross out 2 acutes. Okay, the 2 acutes is not what classifies it, it's the third angle. Okay, so always find your 2 acute angles, cross them out, and the third angle will classify your triangle by its angles. Okay? Alright. If a triangle is equilateral, it also has an blank blank, and each angle measures blank. Okay? If a triangle is equilateral, it also has and blank blank, and its angle measures blank. Okay, that should be, if a triangle is equilateral, is also an acute triangle, and each angle measures 60 degrees. Okay, each angle measures 60 degrees. Okay, so if it's equilateral, it's going to have 3, like look at this equilateral triangle right here. It's going to have 3 acute angles. That's true of every equilateral triangle. And each of those angles are going to measure 60 degrees. So its angle measures are also equal. Okay, it's kind of unique about it. We've already touched about congruent sides are identified with a tally mark. We've talked about that. I called them congruency marks. And congruent angles identified with what look like parentheses, congruent angles. These are congruency marks inside angles right here. Like you may see 1, or you may see a double layer right there, 2 of them, denoting one is different. We'll practice more with that. Now, I want you to classify each triangle by its sides and by its angles. What I want you to do right now is pause the video and see if you can classify these 3 by their sides and by their angles. And then play the video and see if you got it right. Pause it. Now, what you should have here is, guys, 2 words. Each triangle, if I'm going to classify it by its sides, it's going to be different than classifying it by its angles. Here are my sides. Here are my side words right here, and here are my angle words right here. Let's talk about sides first. How many sides are equal in this triangle? 1, 2. Well, triangles with 2 equal sides are isosceles. Okay? What about this one? How many sides are equal? 1, 2. 2 I's for isosceles. Okay. How many are equal here? None of them. This one, notice you have no marks, but this one is actually the shortest, and then this one is medium, and then this one is longest, okay? So this is scalene. If no equal sides, if they have no equal sides, it's scalene. All right, now, to classify it by its angles, we have to look at their angle measures. Remember, I told you, if you can find your 2 acute, cross those out, and the other one, the remaining one, is your angle measurement, or is your your angle classification. So this one's acute, 45 is acute, 45 is acute. This one is right. Cross out your 2 acute, and what's left over is a right triangle. Okay. What about this one? Okay, 40 is acute. 40 is acute, and 100 is obtuse. So cross out your two acutes, and the last one is obtuse. Okay. Right here, 39 is acute, 77 is acute, and 64 is acute. Cross out two acute, any two you want, but that left over is acute. So this is an acute triangle. So classify it by its sides by looking at the side lengths. Classify it by its angles by looking at the angle measurements. Okay, on the back of your page, let me zoom that out so you can see. On the back of your page, we're not worrying about that section right there, okay? But right here, we're going to talk about some angles of your angle measurements of a triangle. This is a big one for 7th grade. These angle measurements and finding a missing angle measurement in there. The sum of the measures of the angles of a triangle is 180 degrees, always. Okay, every triangle in the world, the sum of their measures is 180 degrees. Okay, that means x plus y plus z. Now these are standing for the angle measurements, like 1, 2, 3 angles. Whatever the first one plus the second one plus the third one is, always has to equal 180 degrees. So what you're seeing right there is you're going to be using a lot of formulas here. Okay, and you have to set up formulas. Yes, you do. Okay, I'm telling you that's what I expect from you. Okay, I want you to set up the formulas to solve these. It's keeping your algebra skills sharp while we're in geometry. Okay, so what we're looking at is all three angles have to be 180 degrees, and that's true of every triangle in the world. I don't care what kind it is. So we're going to call this one an x. We're going to say x plus 105 plus 40 equals 180. Okay, it's going to be a very simple, straightforward formula that you use every single time. All right. So I'm going to combine my two like terms. 105 plus 40 is 145. Then I'm going to subtract 145 to solve. And you've got x is equal to 35 degrees. Okay, so if I put in a 35 right here, I can very quickly just add these three numbers in my calculator to see if I get 180, and if I do, I know that I'm right. Okay. All right. What about when they only give you one angle measurement? Well, in this one they really gave you two, because you have to know that that right angle indicator is 90 degrees always. So this is 90 degrees. So I've got x, my unknown angle, plus 90 plus 20 equals 180 degrees for my formula. 1 plus 2 plus 3 equals 100. An 80, sorry. Alright, so we've got 90 plus 20 is 110, so x plus 110 equals 180. Subtract 110 from both sides to solve, and x is equal to 70 degrees. So you can put in 70 degrees right there. Alright, this last one we're going to save. I'm going to do this with you as a class. So just hang on to that one. But I do want you to come down here and do number 4. I want you to come down here and do number 4, and then I want you to bring it to me to show me. Okay, so I want to know who's getting it and who's not, so we know where to practice. All right.